Welcome to the Lessons Learned for Vets podcast page. My name is Lori Norris, and I created this show for you. I want this show to serve as a source of advice and guidance as you navigate the military transition path. I want you to know that you're not alone with what you're going through, and I want you to know that there is only one right way to transition out of the military, and that is the way that you choose to do it. We're just here to help smooth the path ahead of you and advise you about any bumps in the road that you might come across. So if you enjoy this video, please give us a like, subscribe to our page, and I encourage you to go to your favorite podcast provider and listen to the full episode of this show. You can also visit our website at www.ll4vets.com. I promise you will get some great information. Welcome to the bonus question with Mark Rothschild. And if you haven't heard Mark's full episode, head over to your favorite podcast provider and listen to his whole episode, because I think he might just change your mind about the possibility of a career in sales.
I hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, he gave some good information. He even helped you write your resume and prepare for your interview in that episode. So you definitely have to listen to that. So we talked about it on the show a little bit. You are a Veterati mentor, and you told me when we spoke earlier that you always talk to your mentees about networking and the importance of networking. You have a little bit of a different take on it, but how do you recommend people use networking in the military transition process?
I think it's crucial. I think it's something that isn't, I think it's talked a lot about more now than when I was getting out, perhaps. But I think you need to network before you think you need to network, which means if you're not networking already, then you need to be doing it. And I think the two best places to do that are Veterati, because you're going to find veterans like yourself on there who have experience and can kind of, share that with you. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where the business world lives. That's where everyone is engaging. That's where products are sold. That's where the networking happens. And so I think you need to get active on LinkedIn today, not tomorrow, not a week from now, today. Start connecting with your fellow service members, people that, from your unit, from your branch, from your hometown. Start connecting with those people, start engaging with their content, because that's a great way to grow your network. And then one thing, I already have it ready, is pick up this book, The 20-Minute Networking Meeting. And as you're networking with people, either on Veterati or in LinkedIn, have a purpose and a system, which we talked about in the episode, have a system for going about engaging in those networking meetings. And the book kind of walks you through setting a great impression, walking an overview of your service, having questions for a discussion, how to close out a meeting, and how to follow up. Because if you've never done networking, it might appear the same way that sales does. It might feel a bit icky, like you're selling yourself, but it's you extending your network. It's you finding others who are able to help you, and potentially others that you can help as well. And so, it was through my network that I found TechQual, that was able to get my initial training in sales and get my first job. And then it was my network again that helped me find the current role that I'm in. And I think it's very impactful for your career progression, but then also for having a network of people to understand your shared experience in the military and where you're at in the sales world, for being able to network with others who are going through a sales transition, for coming out of the military and trying to find success, in sales. And if you're networking right, you're finding somebody above you who's a mentor, who's been through that experience, and you're finding others like you in the same position so you can share stories. And maybe you'll have a buddy that you can ask dumb questions of as well.
We did talk about that dumb question buddy in the episode. So absolutely. And I think you make a really good point about networking. Is oftentimes we see networking as what can we get from others. And when you go into networking, thinking of it as an exchange of information, an exchange of resources, it doesn't feel so heavy
Yeah.
and it doesn't feel so like, oh, I'm just here to take things, right? So you're there to find out like what do they need? How can you help them?
Yes.
Maybe they're looking for contacts in a company where you know someone, or maybe they're looking to hire people that have the same skill set as you and you can refer them to more people like you. And then you in turn are helping others. And so see it as an exchange of knowledge, an exchange of resources, an exchange of support. Oftentimes people really just enjoy telling their story and sharing their knowledge with others. And so I think sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to put them out. And when really they like helping, right?
I think you touched on something, which is that you have something to offer. Like as part of networking, you should try to offer help. But I think a lot of veterans, especially as they're starting out in their new roles, regardless if it's in sales or not, think, what do I have to offer this person that I'm reaching out to for help? And you absolutely have something. You have your own network, you have your own experience. You'd be surprised how much you bring to the table. And I think it's one of those things that you need to get past is you bring value to that interaction and that you're going to help that person as well. But I think you have to get past, just because you're new in a role or new in an industry that you don't have something to share or help with, you absolutely do. And so that can help you get past kind of that bump of feeling awkward or hesitant to network is I'm going to help with people with X, Y, or Z. And that helps you kind of set up that networking interaction.
You know what you have? You have a new, fresh perspective. Have you ever been working on a problem and someone else walks up and they're like, why are you doing it like that? Why don't you do it this way? And you're like, why didn't I think of that? And so that even could be just one of the things that you offer them as a new perspective on what it is that they do. Yeah, I think that is great. Thank you so much for sharing your take on networking with us. And if you haven't listened to Mark's episode yet, head that way. And he's got a lot of great insight just like that on the podcast. Hey, thank you for watching the video today. Have you subscribed to our channel yet? Did you leave us a comment? Have you listened to the full episode of the podcast on your favorite podcast provider? We sure would appreciate it if you would do all of these things to support us today.